is 1991. Birds and people are living together in seemingly perfect harmony, until one day a young man catches fire. This is Phoenix. The year is 1991. Birds and people are living together in seemingly perfect harmony, until one day a young man catches fire. This is Phoenix.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Game Week 20 deadline stream. Half the season has gone, only 19 game weeks to go, and then it'll all be over, and we can start dreaming of winning FPL next season instead. I am rolling. Haven't seen anything over the last 12 or so hours to change my mind on that. I suspect most of my players will start. Probably not all of them, but hopefully they will. No news on Paquetá whatsoever. Like, not even any rumours about him. So I'm hoping he's just absolutely fine. Lewis Hall is yellow flag, but whatever. I'm pretty sure he will start. And if he doesn't, then I'll just go back to moaning about the fact I should have got Chow. Which I kind of feel like I should have probably done anyway. But it is what it is. I wouldn't bench Wilson or Raul Jimenez if you have them. Liverpool is nothing to be afraid of. Yeah, depends what the other options are, I guess. But yeah, it's perfectly fine to play them if you need to. Change Phoenix to another song. I should get like a catalogue of songs that I can play, but you got to be careful with the old copyright and stuff, you know? The header is still reading Game Week 19. Nice spot. Let me just quickly figure out how I change that. Oh, yeah. Oh, and it's still saying 6 o'clock deadline as well. Whereas we know it's 11 a.m. There we go. Changed it now. Is Minte going to start? I'm not so sure, to be honest with you. I think because it's Burnley at home, I'd risk it, but there is a chance he's benched. These freaking birds in my roof, by the way, are still there. They're making a lot of noise. I need to get rid of them soon. Liverpool have a bad record against wingers, so Wilson has potential. Yeah, like, if you've got Wilson, he's fine. Like, I don't worry about it. I wouldn't be bringing him in, though. I think the time to bring in Wilson has gone. Timber to Gabriel. I probably wouldn't do it. I would just hold off for now. How is O'Reilly? He went off early. Was it just Nah, he wasn't injured. It was just yeah, Pep just made a change. I'm pretty sure O'Reilly will start against Chelsea. I'm just not convinced that Ake will start 2 games so quickly together. Paquetá is a doubt from ex-West Ham employee. Whoa, has he actually said that? Where have you seen that? Is that on his Patreon? I don't think I haven't seen anything on his Twitter account. Unless I'm missing something. Anyway, there's not much I can do about it now. I'm not going to sell him anyway. Worst case is that Anderson comes off the bench. Your YouTube featured, whatever that means. I've got no idea what that means. Where have you even seen that? Your YouTube featured. I mean, that's great, I guess. Excuse me. Seems like I'm choking this morning. Should I use free hit? Probably not. Any key news? Not since yesterday. I mean, I kind of get the Paquetá's a doubt because he went off injured, but I haven't seen anything about him at all. It is what it is. I'm just going to play him. I don't really care, to be honest. On West Ham Central. I've seen that. I don't follow that West Ham Central account, but I've seen a few of their tweets. But, oh, he's a doubt. Okay. I see it now. The annoying thing is, if I hold him this week, it would still be a doubt for next week, probably, if he doesn't play. Because the game, so they're playing today, and then the next game's Tuesday, Tuesday turnaround. That's really bad. But I'll worry about what to do with him next week. I just don't want to sell him for one free transfer. Worst case, he comes on for a cameo, or Anderson comes off the bench. I'll just deal with that, to be honest. Does that put Bowen on penalties? Probably, although, honestly, if Callum Wilson's on the pitch, I would expect him to take them. Bowen's just not that good at penalties, I don't think. Like, if Bowen really wanted them, he'd already have them, I think. So I'm pretty sure if Paquetá's not on the pitch, Callum Wilson will take them instead. If he's on the pitch. Do we think Vandenberg starts? Not sure. I don't know if he missed the last... I don't know if he was benched in the last game because Aguero just played really well or Vandenberg just wasn't completely ready. It's really difficult to know. I think there's a chance he's just benched again, though. What do you think on my team? I'm looking to start Verbruggen, Van Heck, Frimpong, Gabriel Kudus, Gordon, Cherky, Cunha, Bowen. Yeah, he looks fine. Nothing wrong with that at all. Double Brighton defense against Burnley. Kind of like it. Transfer Saka, Senesi, Richards out to Ghana, Tarkowski, Gabriel also helps fund Palmer in 22. I mean, how does it really help fund Palmer in 22? Surely Saka to Palmer is quite an easy way of getting Palmer. I don't mind it, but I don't think it's worth 3 transfers just to get Tarkowski and Gabriel by selling Saka personally. But I mean, it's fine, I guess. Would you want Garner if you hadn't got a big score last week? Sell Semenyo, like Garner's fine, by the way, but obviously all the chat about him now is because he did really well last week. Sell Semenyo for Rogers or Gordon. Gordon for me. I can only bring one in, Gabriel or Rogers. Gabriel would take Anderson out for Gabriel and Mount out for Rogers. Yeah, Gabriel I think is a better long-term piece than Rogers, personally. I left the double Arsenal defense. I've put Garner in my team and lost Foden for Saka. Okay. Again, Foden probably doesn't need to be sold, but Saka's good. Saka's good. Which season did you hit 1294? Probably like 4 seasons ago or something like that. 5 seasons ago. A while back. When did I hit 1294? 2020-21 season. Then the following season I got 9975. So I had 2 really good seasons back to back. Thiago to Calvert-Lewin for a punt. I would just keep Thiago, I think. Ekatike to Bowen for free. Why are you selling Ekatike already? Thinking heavily about a 4-5-1, 5-4-1 rotation. Yeah, it might work okay. Choose 2. Gay, Harry Wilson, O'Reilly, Elliot Anderson. Elliot Anderson is... I never know who Forest are playing. Away to Villa. I'd probably... Who are Palace? Oh, away to Newcastle. I'd probably go O'Reilly and Wilson, I think. I'm so tempted to do Timber to Gabriel. Feels sideways, but it will just keep on rising. I think Timber to Gabriel is okay, but I really don't think you need to rush into it. O'Reilly, Van der Ven, and Semenyo start 2. Probably Spurs are at home, right? Sunderland. Probably Van der Ven and Semenyo. Yeah. Any other long-term midfield apart from Saka, Rice, Palmer, Bruno, Foden, and Dewsbury? Well, I mean, Dewsbury Hill's injured, right? So he's not really a long-term piece at the moment. I mean, I can't see myself selling Szoboszlai anytime soon, but I'm not sure I would go out of my way to bring him in. No. Right now, I would say there's no other midfielders that I'd really worry. I mean, Enzo Fernandez could be a good option from 22. But yeah, not really. Like there's lots of good picks right now, but like Paquetá, if he's fit, is fine. Elliot Anderson is fine. People have got Cherky, he's fine. None of them I would consider great, definite long-term holds, if that makes sense. -4 Minte to Gordon. Anderson is my bench cover. I probably wouldn't -4 it, no. I think O'Reilly will start. Start Van Dijk and Harry Wilson, or drop Van Dijk for Anderson. No, I would just start Van Dijk. Have 1 free transfer. Do you think Keane and O'Reilly both start? I think O'Reilly does, because I'm not convinced Ake will start 2 games so close together, back to back, although he might do. Keane, I'm less sure about, to be honest, because they could just play Patterson right back and O'Brien centre back again. It just depends whether Patterson can play 2 games. He hasn't played much football, I don't think. Just whether or not he will just definitely play again. I don't know. I think Keane's probably worth risking if you've got him. Vandenberg to cash to bench Wilson for them. Probably not. No. Trading Timber for Gabriel away to Bournemouth is crazy. We are acting like Gabriel's Ronaldo. I mean, it's not crazy, but I probably wouldn't do it. Who has 4 yellow cards going into Game Week 20? If you go to the transfer page, you can order it by yellow cards and go and have a look. Start 2, Anderson, Wilson, Lewis Miley, and O'Reilly. Wilson and O'Reilly, I think. Do you think Voltemada will start? Yes. I'd be very surprised if Vissa starts 2 games back to back. Views on Gordon. Good pick for the price, especially with the short-term fixtures. Minte to Szoboszlai, Anderson, or Roll? I think Minte's really tough. I'd probably risk it because it's Burnley at home, but there's every chance he's just benched. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a great point. The 4 yellow cards doesn't matter anymore. You've got to hit 10 before you get suspended. Really good point. I completely forgot about that. Start Wilson or Xhaka. Wilson. I transferred Cucurella out for Gabriel. Now my back three is O'Reilly, Timber, and Gabriel. Nice. I mean, honestly, I think that's what most people are going to try and move towards is having Timber and Gabriel. By the time they do it, there'll probably be a different combination that's absolutely essential. But I think right now, if you could hand pick on wildcard and you could afford it, I think most people would say that Timber, Gabriel, and Saka is probably the best Arsenal triple up. I know everyone's going to shout at me about Declan Rice, but obviously he's literally a doubt this week, so you couldn't. There's no chance I would wildcard with Rice this week. Every game week, all our common players blank, and the ones you have different always haul, and I get nothing. Well, that's not true, is it? They don't always haul. Gut feeling, Rice and Keane start. I think Rice. I don't think Rice is going to start personally. Keane. I think Keane's more likely than Rice to start, but I'm still not 100% sure about it. Start one of Keane, Anderson, or Goodmanson. Leeds got Man United, of course. I'd risk Keane, I think, and just hope he doesn't come on for a cameo. Would you play Semenyo or Vandenberg? Semenyo, probably. I mean, Vandenberg might not even start. Will Rice come off the bench? I mean, possibly. I don't know. I just don't know if... I don't even know if he'll be in the squad. I guess he probably will be if the swelling's gone down, but we don't have information about what his knee's like. Yeah, I've seen the Paquetá stuff. Don't worry about it. I'm just not going to sell him. I'm just going to play him and hope for the best. Rice has travelled with the squad, but I don't think they'll risk it. That's my view as well, unless Arteta lied. The thing is, this is so funny, right? So everyone assumes that the Rice stuff that Arteta said is a lie, but as soon as he says Calafiori's out, everyone just accepts that's truth. Like people always say that Arteta lies until he says that someone's out, and that helps their team, and then all of a sudden he's not a liar anymore. I suspect there is probably an issue there with Rice. Like we know there's an issue. He didn't play the last game. I think he's a doubt. Well, he is a doubt, sorry, but I think he's not going to play. But maybe he's worth holding on to. Like, if he's close to this squad, I think Keane starts. Yeah, I would risk Keane, I think, because he's a good option if he does play. 3 free transfers. Van Dijk. Oh, selling Van Dijk. Wilson and Thiago to Gabriel, Rogers in a dead spot, Barnes. Or O'Reilly, Saka and Wilson to Gabriel, Rogers and Cherky. Oh, yeah. I'm not sure I like either of those, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know. I would probably roll if you're not convinced. I'm not completely convinced either. When was Minte's last return? Last game week? Although, yeah, did he get fouled for the first penalty? I think it was him. I mean, Rice might be okay, but still miss this game and play Liverpool. Arteta might. Well, he would play if he was okay. Like Rice always starts. I think it's pretty clear Rice has got a problem with his knee. That's why he wasn't playing the last game. Need a midfield. Need a mid. Anderson, Wilson, Ekitike for Gabriel, Calvert-Lewin. Have 8.3 for last midfielder. Or need a midfielder. Anderson, Wilson, Ekitike. I absolutely love that people are selling Ekitike already. For Gabriel, Calvert-Lewin. Have 8.3 for the last midfielder. Or O'Reilly, Alderete in. Not Ekitike. 6.3 in about other mid. I don't know. Like, what's your long-term plan? Like, I don't know which one is better for your team. You'd have to figure that out for future weeks. 8.3 midfielder this week. I'd probably buy Gordon, honestly. Yeah, I think Gordon would save a bit of money. If it's 6.3 million, that's a lot trickier. I think they're all just horrible options this week to buy. Saka, Foden, Minte, and Lefay. Yeah, I kind of like going to Gordon and just hoping that he keeps starting. Selling Ekitike already, though. Start Reece James or O'Reilly. O'Reilly, I think. Yeah. O'Reilly. You know if Hub will update to include second chips? If they haven't done already, hopefully very soon. Let me know if they don't do that, and I can push them to do it. Minte, Van Dijk, and Richards to Gabriel. Who's GRNR? and Van der -8. No, don't think so. On wildcard, I have Paquetá, but wasn't aware he's a doubt. Knowing this now, would you still pick him in my position? No, I wouldn't pick him because you don't know how bad. If he's out, you don't know how bad the injury is. Anyone else you take under 6 million? Probably Elliot Anderson, honestly. I'm not even really sure who else there is under 6 million. I think it's a very barren like price range for players. I know got people like Garner now for 5 million, but I think I'd go Elliot Anderson. Happy New Year from Down Under. Happy New Year to you too. Bench one, Goodmanson, Keane, Alderete. Probably Goodmanson. Bench O'Reilly, although Man United at home might not be that bad this week, but probably Goodmanson. Bench O'Reilly, Keane, Van Dijk or Minte. Probably O'Reilly and hope for a Minte start. Gay, O'Reilly, Alderete, Minte start 2. Minte and O'Reilly, I think. Van Dijk to Gabriel from -4. No. Start Tavernier actually is not a bad option. But I wouldn't want to buy him this week because it's Arsenal. But if you don't need your under 6 million midfielder, you could risk Tavernier from next week onwards. Start Tavernier or Anderson. Probably Tavernier if that's Fulham Anderson. Yeah. Play 2. O'Reilly, Wilson, or Mukiele. I would bench Mukiele, I think, from those. Start Harry Wilson or Mukiele. Harry Wilson. I mean, I feel like I'm going to answer this Minte question a million times in this stream. I'm really not sure he's going to start, but I would probably risk it. The situation with Paquetá is he's a doubt. That's all we know. I'm going to put that in the ticker at the bottom. Maybe we should just call this the Michael Keane Minte stream. On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that Keane will start? 6, maybe. So, like, slightly more confident he'll start than he won't, but not super confident either. That makes sense. Dorgu, Vandenberg, Anderson. Be just that order. Although Vandenberg, I'm not sure he's going to play. Probably Dorgu, Anderson, Vandenberg. Start 2 of Dalot, O'Reilly, and Wirtz. Yeah, Wirtz might not start, you know. Hamstring problem, potentially. It feels bad to bench him, though, right? I'd probably bench O'Reilly and just hope for the best on Wirtz, but there is every chance he's just not starting. Raya or Verbruggen for game week 20. Verbruggen, he's got Burnley at home, right? Nah, we're not going to get any news about the likes of Lewis Hall. Eddie Howe said that he's should be okay. That's all we're going to get. And to be honest, the Newcastle in the nose on Twitter are just not that useful. So I wouldn't even trust anything they said, to be honest, for most of them. But the hamstring problem was against Wolves and he still played lead. Yeah, but he got benched early. He got subbed early, right? That's a problem. Yeah, I'm going to roll. Pope and Vandenberg to Verbruggen and Gabriel. 2 free transfers and need a cash cow for Gabriel. Or could do Szoboszlai down to 6 minutes. Yeah, I would just do, out of those 2 options, the one you've posted I think is better. And just keep Szoboszlai for now. I'm playing free hit. Should I remove Wirtz for Szoboszlai? I definitely wouldn't have Wirtz on a free hit. I'm not even sure I would have Szoboszlai, but if I'm honest, I've not looked at free hit this week at all. I just assumed that not many people would be playing it. Am I in a good position? Yes. I mean, you've got a lot of money in your midfield with Palmer and Saka, but if Palmer gets better minutes soon, then he's okay. And the defense is all right as long as Keane starts. Which 2 would you play out of Dalot, Paquetá, and Thiago? Thiago and Dalot, I think. Is 4 million Nottingham Forest keeper an option for wildcard? Yes, but I wouldn't pair him with Dubravka. I think that's way too risky because he could lose his place at some point. Have Paquetá and Keane only 1 bench option, transfer 1 out or risk they play? I'd risk that you get 1 start from those 2, I think. Start Fulham Anderson or Lefay? Probably Enzo Lefay. Happy New Year. Just to say, old-time viewer, great to see you looking so healthy. Thank you. From your first Q&A vid where you talked about lifestyle, you've done amazing. Thank you very much. Glad you're still watching. Super chat Jared put in. Yeah, Van Dijk. What did I say? Minte to Bruno G worth a transfer. I mean, if you've got a spare transfer, sure. You can look at Szoboszlai, Gordon as well. Paul is out, according to who? What do you think of Alderete starting over Gay or O'Reilly? I'd maybe start him over Gay, probably not O'Reilly. That's because I think O'Reilly will start. Why is Sharda so low owned? People just don't really like him all that much. Szoboszlai before. Well, he's not playing Arsenal this week, though, right? Depends whether you want to save a bit of money. I mean, you'd probably rather have Bruno Guimaraes next to, yeah. But there is a price difference, right? Minus 16 this week to bring in Calvert-Lewin, Semenyo, Cherky, Watkins. That sounds awful. Who would you bench out of Keane, Minte, or Dorgu? Keane, probably. Played wildcard. Pickford, Dubravka, Gabriel, Timber, Van der Ven, Hall. I wouldn't go for Hall on wildcard, I don't think. Alderete, Foden, Gordon, Rogers. Okay. Garner, Stack. Garner and Stack. Haaland, Watkins, Bowen, most of them long term. I don't know about setting up with a structure where you've got Garner and Stack and you don't have anyone like Saka to get to Palmer later. Watkins just... I know Villa's fixtures are good, but Watkins just feels way too much money for a player that could get the odd bench in. Start Enzo Lefebvre or O'Reilly. I'd be tempted to start Enzo Lefebvre, I think. Mukiele, Anderson, Vandenberg, start one. Mukiele, I would say. Mukiele, Timber, and one free transfer, roll or make changes. Well, what changes are you thinking about making for your team for like longer term moves and stuff like that? Cunha to Rogers, Richards to Everton. I wouldn't do. No way would I do Cunha to Rogers. Not when he's got Burnley next week. Richards to Everton. Yeah, Richards to Tarkowski could be good if you've got the money. Quite like Tarkowski, decent. I've had 6 red arrows from 49k to 589, and I feel like looking at my team, I'm going to get another. Raya, fine. Dorgu, fine. Van der Ven, fine. Foden, fine. Rogers, okay. Saka, Minte, Ekatika, Haaland. Would you wildcard? But what are you going to wildcard into? How many changes? Like, realistically, how many big upgrade changes would you make on wildcard? I think that team is fine. I would not wildcard that team. No way. Start Rice or Dorgu. Dorgu, I think. Is Rogers a bad pick? No, didn't pick Gordon because of fixture congestion. Absolutely reasonable. Happy New Year to you too. 21 months, thank you. When should we use the chips for the second half of the season? I don't know. We'll figure that out later on. -4 to changing Cape to Gabriel. No. And Thiago to Calvert-Lewin. Also probably no. I'm rolling because it's a pretty rubbish week to bring anyone in. I'm rolling because I'm just hoping that Paquetá and Lewis Hall start. Yeah. God, I wish I bought Chow instead of Lewis Hall, honestly. What I really wish had happened is I'd gone for Sharda instead of Wirtz in game week 18 or whenever it was. Then I'd have Gabriel and Chow right now because I wouldn't have been able to afford Lewis Hall, and I'd have an extra free transfer, but I can't keep moaning because I'm doing all right. If you can only play one, who would you? Rogers, Semenyo, or Cunha? Cunha probably, with Rogers close second, then Semenyo. How long before you break into the top 1k? Probably ages, maybe even never this season. It's quite difficult to do that. Like I've had so much luck recently that it's bound to change at some point, and the red arrows will start rolling in. Can't keep getting away with it. Rolling, but next game week to free money. Lacroix to a Sunderland defender. Yeah, that can work. 36 months, by the way. Yeah, I think a Sunderland defender is like an enabling piece in your defense is fine. Do you think Thiago has dipped in form? I mean, quite literally he has, right? But I still think he's fine. Like, I think if you want to sell Thiago, it's okay. But I would argue there's not a huge amount of great options to go to. Is wildcard too crazy? There might be some people out there that have got a team that really needs a wildcard. I would suggest that probably most people watching this do not need a wildcard, and it's better to just save it. Van Dijk and Mount for Gabriel and Grealish -4. No. Grealish for a -4. No, I probably wouldn't do that. Genre, 33 months. Thank you too. What do you think about Trossard? I mean, if he keeps starting, like the problem is, I'm never going to be fully confident in the minutes, no matter how many freaking games he starts, which is quite a lot, right? You've just got Martinelli there that can also play on the left. I mean, Eze could play on the left at times as well, although I don't think that's going to happen from the start very often at all. I don't know. Tarkovsky's minutes are probably... sorry, not Tarkovsky. Trossard's minutes are probably really good. But I don't know. I just think that Arsenal's spots in our team are quite precious, as in we probably want 3 if we can. I don't think Trossard is part of the best 3. Bench Ruben Dias or Van Dijk. Probably Ruben Dias, I think. Wilson to Paquetá. I would not buy Paquetá this week, just because he's a doubt. Love Trossard. If Trossard was absolutely nailed, I'm still not sure I would own him. Maybe I would because he's so cheap, but I quite like Saka in double defense. Would I start Wilson or Van Dijk? I'd be tempted to start Van Dijk, you know, but maybe I'm just an idiot. Start Dorgu or Lewis Hall. Lewis Hall. And just hope that he's absolutely fine. Am I selling Van Dijk in the near future? As it stands, I've got no plans to sell him soon, but that could change pretty quickly, right? I mean, I'm always going to be looking at Van Dijk in my team, that if I need some money, that's the downgrade to make right now. Baseball Brit, new member, thank you. Would you play O'Reilly, Mukiele, or Miley? O'Reilly, I think. Have I looked at chip strategy? Not really. There's just no point until we know more about doubles and blanks. It's just like, why spend time worrying about something that I'm like, I could spend hours today thinking about chip strategy and I would still not come to a conclusion because I got no idea what's going to happen with the blanks and doubles. So I will just not think about it instead. There will almost, like, we'll definitely have like 1 blank, 1 double, right? It always happens. I think we have to have at least 2 blanks, right? Carabao Cup final and then one of the FA Cup weekends I think will create a blank as well. So there's definitely going to be an opportunity to use the free hit in one of those blanks. The double game week for the triple captain, wildcard ahead of the double. It's like the same old stuff in the second half of the season, and then figure out bench boost when I wildcard. So yeah, that's about as far as I've thought. It will probably end up similar to every other season, but in terms of exactly which weeks, no idea whatsoever. Start 3 of Dalot, Keane, Thiago, Minte, Rice, Wilson. 3, 1, 2. Thiago. See, I think Thiago for sure. I just don't know with Minte whether he's going to start, and you've got other players that will start, so I don't know if it's worth risking it. Thiago, Dalot, I guess Wilson, and go for the guaranteed starters, but it's kind of a horrible situation. Thoughts on Nunez, Man City? I mean, not a bad option, but bringing him in now before Chelsea at home, probably not a great option, I would say. Saka and O'Neill for Cherky and Gabriel, but -4. No, I don't think so. Who's O'Neill? I don't even know who that is. It's probably bad. Start Wilson or O'Reilly. Wilson probably. Really split on this. Would you sell Verts to move to Bruno Guimaraes or Rogers or Roll and have 3 free transfers next week? I think there's a really good chance Verts is bench, but I guess if you're not sure, I wouldn't be sure who to move to there, so I'd probably just roll it. -4 to bring in Tarkovsky for O'Reilly. No, don't think so. What do you think? Start Hall or Tarkovsky? Tarkovsky 100%. Or buy Chow and sell Hall? No, just start Tarkovsky. Who's my money to win the league? Arsenal. I think Arsenal will win it quite comfortably in the end as well. Start Keane or Vandenberg? Keane. Because there's no guarantee either will start, and Keane is the better option. What did I do for New Year's Eve? I fell asleep before 12. A Sunderland or Everton defender. I mean, Everton for the next few weeks, definitely. Romero in for Richards or just play Anderson? I'd probably just play Anderson. I don't. Romero's actually not bad, I don't think, for the next 4, but I'm not sure I'd be using a transfer to get him in right now. I don't think he's like a long-term piece. Best differential is MO8. Odegaard. I mean, differential, yes. Best. I mean, I can't think of a better differential off the top of my head. I'm sure there probably is one, though. Yeah, I basically went for dinner on New Year's Eve. I had 2 pints before dinner. I had 1 bottle of beer for dinner. And then when I got home, I opened a can, didn't even finish it, and I was asleep before 12. Can't hack it anymore. Also, I'm like the Scrooge of New Year. Like I just can't be bothered with New Year's. It's just such like, it's like whatever. Like it's a good, it can be a good night, but like I said this to my wife, is that I'm more than happy to go out on New Year's Eve, but I also don't care at all if I don't. We usually just get dinner. Don't go for like a proper night out. O'Reilly, not O'Neill. Cherky and Gabriel. Yeah, for a -4, probably not. No, I don't think so. Saka and O'Reilly out for Cherky and Gabriel -4. No, I wouldn't do that. Play O'Reilly or Harry Wilson. Probably Harry Wilson. Worried about not owning Gabriel. Would you take a -4 for Semenyo and Senesi to Gabriel and Garner or roll? I'd probably just roll. I think Gabriel's good. I don't think he's as good as having to take -4s and stuff. Yeah, I've seen the Paquetá stuff. I've tweeted about it as well. Are Gordon's minutes at risk considering Elanga is out? Wouldn't that make his minutes better, not worse? Raya, Gabriel, Calafiori, Vardio, Alderete, time to wildcard. I mean, what's wrong with Raya and Gabriel? And Vardio probably starts, right? People are bringing Alderete in. I don't get what the issue is. Start O'Reilly or Van Heck? The guy playing Burnley, for sure. 1 free transfer. Anderson, Senesi, Richards to Tarkowski or Wilson to Garner. Yeah, I wouldn't do Wilson to. I think Garner is not a bad pick for 5 million, but I think there's a bit of an overreaction based on last week. Buying Tarkowski looks pretty good to me. Richards, Anderson, or Senesi is tricky. I don't know when Richards is going to be back. Like basically, all of them 3 defenders have okay longer term fixtures. I honestly, I do not know which one you should sell. My only advice is get into a planner and go and look through the next few weeks. If I sell this one, how does the rotation look for my defenders? I think they're all okay to keep. I guess if I had to, like, gun to my head, who would I sell? Probably Richards, because he's an injury doubt right now. But he's probably not long term. Oh yeah, I'm not keen on Richards. Okay, fair enough. I'd probably sell Senesi before Anderson, but that's just a gut instinct. I don't know why. What's happened to Eze? Just his minutes were never going to be secure once Odegaard was back. I must admit the limited amount of minutes he's got recently is even a surprise to me. But in terms of being benched, like it was always going to happen. People like always try and talk themselves into these narratives when a player scores a hat trick, but essentially Odegaard is, plays a lot and he plays in that position. Like everyone talked themselves into basically Eze's going to start central, and if Odegaard comes back, Eze will just start on the left, and that was never going to happen. Not like regularly anyway. Like Arsenal got so much squad depth there. Why he's hardly getting any minutes at all, I do not know. But yeah, he's not going to be an FPL pick with the amount of players they've got fit at the moment. Miley to Chow with -4, or Timber to Chow to go Gabriel next week. Miley to Chow with a -4, or Timber to Chow. I mean, I don't. I presumably you just roll and keep Timber and keep Lewis Miley unless I'm missing something. Okay, I didn't listen to you. Okay. Wildcard actors as of 11:45 last night. Fed up of being stuck 1.2 to 1.5. Any non-negotiables? Gabriel? Gordon and Nico Williams or Keane and Roy. I don't think you can go Keane on wildcard. Nico Williams, I've not really looked into much, but Gordon plus a cheap defender seems okay to me. Gabriel Haaland would definitely be on there. I'd probably still have Foden as well. Do you think O'Reilly to Chow Nunez Spurs defender is worth a free transfer? I think O'Reilly's going to start. Yeah, I don't know. I think he'll start, so I'm going to say no. But I guess it could give you peace of mind just to get rid of him. Would you sell Richards on my bench with Hall being yellow flag starting with a free transfer? No, probably not. What other players would I definitely have on? Well, I think I would have Saka on wildcard, honestly. Give you that nice piece to go to Parma later. I don't know who else, though. Probably not Cunha. Downgrade Harry Wilson or Reece James. Have 0.3 in the bank. Reece James probably. I know Chelsea got lots of good fixtures coming up, but they also have lots of fixtures. I'm just not convinced he starts them all. Eze chose the wrong club. I don't think he chose the wrong club to move to at all, really. I mean, that's his childhood team, right? He's living the dream right now. Riss Minte or start Thiago? I'd start Thiago, I think. I have a feeling Timber won't start due to minutes rested. Would you bench to avoid the 1 point substitution? I mean, if you think he won't start, then yes, you should bench him. I think he will start, personally. 0 free transfers. My defense is Gabriel, Timber, O'Reilly, Anderson, Rodon. For a -4, which one would you get out? O'Reilly out for Tarkowski, Hall. I would just play Gabriel, Timber, and O'Reilly, to be honest. I mean, if you have to take the -4, I guess go Tarkowski, but I just wouldn't do that. Bench one of Raul Jimenez or Chow. I'd probably bench Chow. I'm likely to wildcard 21, hate my team, and 2 red flags on the bench. 3 Arsenal versus 2 Liverpool next week. How hard would it be to manage blanks and doubles? I don't know, because I don't know what they're going to look like yet, is the honest answer. I mean, I will say that, now again, this will depend on how they fall, the blanks and doubles, but actually there's some scenarios where having free hit is better than having wild card. If you could only choose one, there are some scenarios where having the free hit is better than the wild card, but I don't know if this season will be that scenario. And also, having 3 Arsenal, 2 Liverpool is not great, but you are going to want 3 Arsenal longer term, and having 2 Liverpool is fine. I'm literally in the same position. I'm going to bench Van Dijk and just play the other 4. Is Reece James a must sell? No. Bench 1, Harry Wilson, Nketiah, Chow, or Nunez. I would definitely play Nketiah and Chow, I think, because I think Nketiah starts again. I'd be tempted to bench Harry Wilson, but I think that's because I'd just be too scared to bench Nunez. Bench 1 of Keane, Cash, and Mukiele. Mukiele. -4 Verts to Trossard or Rogers, or play Anderson. I would just probably play Verts rather than take a -4. Semenyo Anderson to Gabriel Paquetá -4. Paquetá's a doubt, so no, I would not do that. I also probably just wouldn't take a -4 for Gabriel anyway. Who to bench? Anderson, O'Reilly, Anderson. Probably Joachim Anderson. Raul over Thiago for a punt. I mean, sure, but I wouldn't sell Thiago to Raul Jimenez. Keane over Stat, yes. We are both ranked 10, 8, 2, 6. How is that possible? Same points, I guess. Bench 1, Raul or Chow? Chow. Keen to Tarkowski or Minte to Gordon for free? Minte to Gordon, I think. Out of those 2. Meta Malomia, I missed your super chat. Did I, though? Did I? Nope. Just did that. Jake O'Brien, McAllister, Van Heck. Start 1. Van Heck. Pascal Gross has re-signed for Brighton. He has indeed. I probably will not be buying him. What Chelsea player will struggle if the new manager plays 3/5 at the back? I really don't think that's going to happen, to be honest. I don't know. I'm not sure who. It depends who gets played and who doesn't, right? Who's on the bench, etc. Not sure. Probably not worth worrying about, so I don't think it will happen. Does having a good rank affect your decision making? Not really, I don't think. Because ultimately, like, we're only halfway through the season. There's no point in overthinking it right now. There's every chance I will just drop down the ranks soon. And who cares, you know? Raya to Verbruggen and Senesi to Gabriel. I'm going to say no to any -4 that involves Gabriel, I think. I just don't think it's worth it. Maresca shouldn't have been sacked. I kind of agree, to be honest. I think it's a bit of a weird situation. I mean, it doesn't sound like he was sacked. It sounds like maybe it was a mutual thing or he walked. I don't know. But, I mean, maybe he was pushed. I'm not sure. I mean, it does sound like he was chatting to Man City, so maybe they weren't happy about that. I mean, there's loads of stuff that have come out to say why he was unhappy. You're never really sure exactly what's true or not. But it sounded more like he went rather than he was sacked. By Royfs or Kelleher, -4 ever worth it for a goalkeeper? Probably not. I would probably buy Kelleher out of the two. Should I sell Lacroix? Maybe. Which cheaper option would you go for? Mukiele, Keane, or a short term? I would not buy Dorgu now. If you've already got Chow, Timber, Gabriel, why do you need to sell Lacroix? Would you play that one ahead of? I wouldn't buy Keane. You don't need Mukiele from what I can see. Just play Chow, Timber, Gabriel, and Minte. No, just hope for the best on Minte. Bench one: Minte, Szoboszlai, Thiago, or Calvert-Lewin. Probably Minte, because I think in your case you've got 3 really good options that you know are going to start. Bench one: Ekitike. Come on, you're not benching Ekitike. Chow or Cherky? Chow probably. Bench Keane or Rice. I mean, which one's more likely to start? I guess Keane, so I'd probably play him. Bowen or Mateta? Probably Bowen right now. I would not be buying Paquetá this week. He's a doubt. Lewis Hall or Lacroix? It's easy. Hall, right? Alderete, Calvert-Lewin, Lissandro Martinez on the bench. Who to play? Calvert-Lewin. He should start after being benched last week. It's a good fixture against Man United, honestly. Start Paquetá or Van Heck. Van Heck. It's just too risky starting Paquetá. Like, if you've got a good bench. I just don't have a good bench, so I'm going to risk it. And hope for the best. People here thinking about benching Ekitike. No one's actually thinking about benching Ekitike. And I'm sat here with 10 players and no transfers. I do find it funny how many people are thinking about selling him already, though. I don't think Ekitike is a bad pick at all, but I do think he messes people's structures up a little bit. And I think over the next few weeks, when people are looking for money, Ekitike might be the fall guy. Maybe after Burnley. -4 for Lacroix to Chow or Wilson to Garner. I probably just wouldn't take a -4 for either of those moves. You're in an FPL Villa League. Thought you supported Man United. Yeah, it's just from when I started the season. I just made my team really quick to get a low team ID. And I just chose the first team. I just clicked down the list really quick. I actually changed it on the settings, though, and it just hasn't updated. So I've actually changed it to Man United. I actually think I did that last night, but it hasn't changed yet. Best Brighton options. Honestly, if you haven't got any Brighton players, I would probably just ignore them. Maybe get Verbruggen if you need a new goalkeeper. Ex-West Ham employee is the best West Ham in the know. If he says Paquetá's a doubt, he's almost certainly out. Yeah, I know. And I'm still going to roll. Sell Thiago to upgrade Dewsbury Hall to Rogers and move from 3-4-3 to 3-5-2. I'd rather have Thiago than Rogers right now. Gross if he's on pens. I mean, he's probably not going to be on penalties ahead of Welbeck, and I just don't know if his minutes are going to be that good, really. Like, I just wouldn't buy any Brighton players right now. I've already done a -4. Is it worth Verts to Rogers for another hit? No, I don't think so. Van Heck, should I sell him or keep? He's got Burnley at home. Van Dijk to Tarkowski, Thiago to Cavalier, and Rice to someone or roll. Probably roll. I mean, Rice to someone if you have to make a move because he's a doubt, but the other two I would just keep. Van Dijk, Rice, Ekatike out, Gabriel, Rogers, Thiago. No. Just do Rice out and just roll your other transfer. Don't take a -4. Van Dijk, Ekatike out. It's just madness. I've already answered that question about whether you should sell Lacroix. Anderson to Tarkowski or save the transfer. Anderson will be benched fairly often as long as Richards is fit. I mean, Richards is not fit right now. Medium term. I'd probably roll in that case. That's a good point. Gross might be on penalties after Welbeck's miss, but let's see. Is Gross's is his penalty record even that good? Oh, he scored 12. He's missed 4, so it's okay. Stop telling people not to take hits. Think of the rank gain. No, I can't do that. Yeah, no. Again, I have seen the Paquetá news. I promise you. And I'm going to just play him. I think I'm just going to get Joachim Andersen off the bench. There's just no one I want to move to for Paquetá. It's annoying to lose him. Like, obviously, it's great that I got the 13-pointer, but it's a bit annoying to lose him so quick. I think my worry is that the next game's Tuesday. So if he's a doubt for this one, I think he might miss Tuesday as well. But at least then I can make a decision. Like, do I keep him for after the FA Cup thing weekend? Or do I use 2 free transfers and get rid of him? I just think having 2 free transfers puts me in a much better position. I must admit, having Senesi and Anderson is not great for the next couple of weeks. Because if Paquetá's out next week, it means I'm playing Anderson against Chelsea at home or Van Dijk against Arsenal away, which is not great whatsoever. But I'll worry about it next week. I actually don't know how I free up money next week, though, to do Paquetá up to anyone. Not sure. Not sure at all. But that's a... That's a problem for next week, basically. I'm not going to worry about it now. Semenyo to Gordon, Cherky, Rogers. I'd buy Gordon out of those, I think. Would you do Minte to Bruno Guimaraes / Paquetá if you have just 1 free? I would not buy Paquetá. He's a doubt. 1 free transfer, I'd probably just roll. Start 2 of Garner, Cherky, Dorgu, Timber, Chalobah. Timber and Cherky, probably. If Minte is out, who would you rather come off the bench? Wilson, I think, out of those. Wilson, then Anderson, then Lacroix, probably. You can sell your beloved Van Dijk. Yeah, I maybe, but he's got Burnley at home the week after. I mean, maybe I just do Paquetá to another 6 million or below, just in 1 free transfer. No Rogers. Wow. Is it really a shock that I haven't got Rogers? Who do I bench out of Mukiele, Dorgu, or Wilson? Probably Mukiele, just about. Him and Dorgu are probably quite close this week. If Hall is confirmed injured as well as Paquetá, will you make a transfer? Maybe, but I don't know what I would do. Maybe I would just do Lewis Hall to Chow. But it's very unlikely we're going to get Lewis Hall. I mean, it is going to be annoying if he misses out, and so does Paquetá. Like I said, the red arrows are probably coming for my team. It could be this week. Next week, my team doesn't look great either, to be honest. Rogers is just the safest buy for long term. In terms of minutes, yeah, I really do not see me buying Rogers anytime soon, but never say never, you know. Bench Lissandro Martinez or Alderete? Probably Martinez. Who do I bench at? Oh, I did that one. A first-time FPL player with 1 free transfer. Need advice regarding transfers. Is it worth it to take a -4 to get Gabriel for Chalobah? Need to trade Raya as well? No, I wouldn't take a -4 to swap Arsenal spots. You always say the red arrows are coming. I don't think I always say that, to be honest. But yeah. Cherky in for Foden to free up. No, I don't like Cherky in for Foden, really. To free up cash for Gabriel. It's okay, I guess. Rice or Wilson? Wilson replace if not starting. I'd just play Wilson. Would you use wildcard or use all 5 free transfers? I think I'd rather save the wildcard. I think it's a tricky one because I don't quite know what the rest of the season's going to look like in terms of how useful that wildcard is. But I think I'd prefer to side with caution and just hold it. Defenders: Goodmanson, Dorgu, Van Dijk, O'Reilly, and Richards. Nothing in the bank. No free transfers. Wilson, Richards, and Guillaume on the bench. Would you take a hit? Wildcard. I don't get what the problem is. Van Dijk's got Fulham away. That's fine. O'Reilly should start. I guess there's some doubts there, but it's fine. Wilson on the bench is okay. And you just got Dorgu, right? So what? Just play him. I have 1 free transfer and Rice, Keane, and Noor starting. Only Senesi playing on the bench. King and Guillaume. Do you think a hit for bench cover is worth it? No, probably not. I really don't like taking hits to cover the bench. I don't even like making free transfers usually to do it. Is Welbeck not a good shout? I mean, this week specifically, maybe, but I just think Welbeck's a headache. You're always going to have doubts about whether he starts week to week. 6.4 million midfielder in for McAllister. Kudus, 1 free transfer. I mean, from a fixtures play, you could look at Kudus, yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know if I've got a better midfielder for 6.4 or less to recommend you. Like when I go to 6.5 or below, like I wouldn't buy Wilson right now. Garner's fine, but nothing more than that. Enzo at 6.4 is not a bad longer term. In fact, do you know what? I reckon if Paquetá's a doubt next week and I free up money, I reckon I might just go Enzo Fernandez and just get him in ahead of Chelsea's good fixture run. But if I was buying this week, I wouldn't buy Enzo before Man City away. Also, there's some risk there because you're not sure what the new manager will do, etc. Although I suspect he will just continue what Maresca was doing. But yeah, Kudus has got Sunderland at home, Bournemouth away, West Ham at home, Burnley away. It's not a bad 4-game week punt. I think that would be my plan. I think I would have to find 0.5 million and upgrade Paquetá to Enzo Fernandez. I think that would be the play. I'm not sure how I would do it though. Maybe Van Dijk out. Probably not though. Honestly, I don't really want to sell Van Dijk. I think he's okay. And the fact that everyone hates him, it's a bit like the Van Dijk situation right now is a bit like the Bruno Fernandes situation. Everyone kind of hates him. It just makes me want to keep him a bit more. He only got 6 points last week. He only got 6 points. I mean, that was my 3rd highest scorer. Is Enzo better than Palmer? I mean, no, but there's like a 4 million price difference. It's not so easy to go. I mean, Senesi, yeah, Alderete is not a bad shout either, you know. Lewis Hall to Alderete, but the thing is, I kind of need Lewis Hall to play for me a bit. By the way, I don't know why I'm thinking so much about next week already, because there is a chance that he just plays Paquetá. Probably not, though. Yeah, Alderete maybe. Anyway, let's stop thinking about my transfers for next week, because it doesn't matter. I'm just going to roll. Now I can't even remember what your Lacroix question was, if I'm honest. You're going to have to put it in again. I'll try and answer it again. It was something about whether you keep... From memory, you've got 3 defenders you can just play, so I don't know why you're selling Lacroix. I think that was my answer. But anyway, I went off on a tangent there. 6.4 million midfielder. Kudus is fine. Bench Minte or Thiago. Minte. Wildcard. Pickford and choose Tarkowski or Chow. Look, I'll be honest. I've not looked at wildcard at all. Would I want double Everton defence? The next 4 are pretty good. After that's not bad either. I take Tarkowski over Chow. 2 Everton defenders on wildcard. Pickford and Tarkowski plus cheap defender or Keane and Hall. Pickford and Tarkowski probably. O'Reilly to Nunez or Tarkowski or Chow. Tarkowski. Bench Mane or O'Reilly. Mane probably. I have 2 free transfers. Verts to Bruno G, Sash Gordon, Sash Bosslight or Rogers. Gordon for me. Should I make another defense to get Gabriel or Chow? Have Timber, Encapié, and O'Reilly? No, I'd probably just roll out that defense. I think Encapié will start again. Worry about Gabriel down the line. Rolling makes you look ahead to next week to make a transfer. Yeah, but I don't need to worry about it right now, do I? Because I'm literally streaming and I can't make next week's transfer now. Esteval will break FPL from game week 22. Sure. There's always... I mean, Ekatike was going to break FPL a couple of weeks ago. Now people are selling him. So we'll see. I mean, if Esteval gets the minutes, then sure. Enzo Fernandez out for this game. I'd probably hold on to him. Why are so many wanting to sell O'Reilly? Because he got subbed off before the 60th minute last week. And so now he's a little bit of a worry for minutes moving forward. But yeah, I think he could start. I reckon I'd be selling Paquetá. If I just got Sharda 2 weeks ago, I'd be able to sell Paquetá right now. Bench and headache of O'Reilly, Enzo, Bijol, Leeds, or Voltamar to bench one. Probably the Leeds guy. Ekatike is so expensive. That's no comparison to Esteban. I know, but there's always someone that's going to break FPL that you absolutely have to have, and then 2 weeks later there's someone else. Like I wouldn't worry about players that are going to break the game. Very rarely does it actually happen. I mean, if Esteval gets lots of minutes, then yeah, lots of people will buy him. But let's see. He might just not. Ekatike or Haaland captain? I mean, Haaland, I think, fairly straightforward this week. Ekatike and Anderson to Bowen and Enzo next week. I mean, sure, it's okay, but Ekatike has Burnley at home afterwards. Remember when Nkunku could break the game? I do remember, yeah. He broke my FPL team. I don't know about breaking the game. Take a -4. I don't even know what -4 I would do. Like, I wouldn't buy Enzo this week, so I'd have to buy, like, Kudus or... If I want to go above Paquetá's price, it would have to be someone like Kudus or Enzo Fernandez, and I'd have to... Where else do I even downgrade? Like, Senesi to Adorate? I just don't think it's worth it. Ekatike points 13, 13, 9, 5, 2. Why are you SHITing on this guy? I don't think I am. Yeah, he's fine. But the thing is, most people picked him up after the 13, 13, 9. They didn't pick him up before that. I think Ekatike is a perfectly okay pick. I'm just saying, like, the chat was around him breaking the game. It's just not going to happen. Start one, Enzo Fernandez. I'll tell you what, though, he's better than freaking Thiago. Start one, Enzo Fernandez or Van der Ven. I think I'd start Van der Ven this week. Not worth. Anderson will get DEFCON 100%. Maybe even gets a clean sheet. I'll tell you what, if Paquetá's going to miss out, I would 100% take a 0-0 in the Liverpool-Fulham game. 100%. Who's better, Mukiele or Alderete? I'd probably just go Alderete for the price at this point. Do you play Van Dijk or Wilson? I think I would play Van Dijk, but I am also just an idiot. Would you say Chris Richards plays tomorrow? I would say he's almost certainly not going to play. I would not put too much hope in him playing. What is your long-term plan with Cunha? Probably sell him in game week 22. Paquetá won't play, I reckon. Yeah, I reckon you're probably right. I mean, this will just be my team, basically. The thing is, if there's no, I've put the Paquetá doubt in the ticker. There's no way to stop the comments about it. Though. If I do this, people are just going to ask me why I'm not playing Paquetá. If I do this, people will keep telling me Paquetá's a doubt. I mean, I'm just going to roll. I think. It probably does have 2 T's. Yeah. Can anyone talk me into doing a 6 million midfielder or below for Paquetá? Check the Fabrizio tweet. Do I have to? Is it interesting? Is it about Paquetá? The one about Ake? What am I looking at? You never know when Anderson scores his first Fulham League goal. Yeah, maybe. Bench one, Van Dijk, Heaven, Collins, or Wilson. Probably Heaven. Garner. Gravenberch, no chance. Garner, yeah. Garner's not terrible, I guess. Xhaka's fixtures are okay. But the thing is, I think I'd rather just upgrade into Enzo Fernandez next week. Yeah, there's only 4 matches today. And to be honest, my interest in them from an FPL point of view is next is, I mean, until Arsenal play, it's basically 0. I've got no Brighton, no Villa. Paquetá's probably out. Bench one of Dorgu, Vandenberg, and O'Reilly. Probably Vandenberg of those, I would say. Yeah, I do. Again, I do get all the Garner talk, but it's obviously like there was 0 Garner talk before this week, 0. So let's just acknowledge it's because he got a 16-pointer. You know, no one was interested in him when he got 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5. So like again, I think he's a perfectly reasonable pick. I'm just not sure I need to use my 1 free transfer to get him. Like, is Garner worth using a transfer on rather than just playing Anderson? Think of it that way. Not convinced. Wilson, Anderson, or Senesi. I'd play them in that order. Wilson, then Anderson, then Senesi. Yeah, Tavernier, actually, I got to keep remembering him. Tavernier is probably not a bad shout because I can get to him in 1 move. So if I roll, I could just do Paquetá to Tavernier and roll my other transfer. Maybe that's the play. I just don't want him this week. I have Paquetá. Shall I sell Rodon for Mukiele from -4? I've got Rodon, Dewsbury, and Krupi. Oh, God. In your specific case, I'd be a little bit tempted to do that, yes. Most people shouldn't take a hit to cover the bench, though. Lacroix to replace Rice and play 5-3-2 or play Wilson. I'd play Wilson over Lacroix, I think. Why are you all sleeping on Cole Palmer? I mean, I'm watching Palmer sleep on the bench half the time. I mean, 62, 71 minutes last week. It's just not enough for 10.4 million. I want to see more than that. I really do want to see more. Do you think I should start Mukiele over any of my doubts, which are Rice, Minte, or Vandenberg? I would start him over Vandenberg. Oh, yeah, over Vandenberg, I think. Miss Super Chats. Did I, though? Did I? Didn't miss that one, that one, that one, that one, that... Who's... no, I've done them all. Yeah, I've done them all. Enzo Fernandez or Van de Ven? I'd probably do Enzo Fernandez if I missed that one. Yeah, I think I did them all. But Palmer will get more minutes now since the manager has changed. I mean, that's not a guarantee. And also, who cares, right? The manager's not there and it's Man City away this week. So just wait. Just be patient. What's the rush to get Palmer? He's got Man City away, then Fulham away. We have no idea what his minutes will be like. I don't think Maresca is looking at Cole Palmer thinking, do you know what? I don't really want to play this guy. I suspect it's probably the groin problem he's got that's limiting his minutes. Not Maresca has literally said that Cole Palmer's their best player. I don't know if he said it literally like that, but he essentially said like he's their Salah, etc. I'm pretty sure if he was fit enough to play 90 minutes every week, Maresca would have just played him 90 minutes every week. A new manager coming in from France is not going to give Palmer a new groin, you know? Who would I bring in? Van de Ven or Van Heck? Probably Van de Ven because of the next 4. Yeah, but he's not saying Palmer's as good as Salah. He's saying that he's their main man. One of the reasons Maresca got sacked is because of the fallout with the medical staff over Palmer's minutes. Yeah, Maresca wanted to play him more, right? So this idea that the new manager is going to be able to play him more could be nonsense. Foden, Chalobah out. Rogers, Gabriel -4. No chance would I do that. Palmer is better than Salah. I mean, come on. Come on. Looks like the new Chelsea manager also plays free. I highly doubt Chelsea are going to go to a back three, to be honest. Got a feeling Chelsea are going to go downhill now. We'll see. Rare to Verbruggen to fund Van Dijk to Gabriel later on. Until you need that money, I just wouldn't bother making the downgrade. I would just wait because something might crop up next week where you need to sell a different player, and that allows you to free up money. You can just keep Raya instead. Would you move Minte to Gordon? Maybe if I've got a spare transfer to do it, yeah. Sideways transfer from Keane to Tarkowski or take the risk. I'd probably take the risk, I think. Thoughts on selling Wirtz for Szoboszlai or Rogers? I would go Szoboszlai over Rogers. Just save the money and get the penalty taker. Start one. Keane, Dorgu, O'Reilly. I probably risk Keane. Play Sanchez or Dubravka. City away, Brighton away. Sanchez probably. Lacroix and roll. Anderson and roll. Or buy Chow. I'm tempted to say Anderson and roll. But I think buying Chow... honestly, I think buying Chow's okay. If you've only got one transfer, I'd probably roll. If you got more, I'd maybe buy him. Okay, should I sell Lacroix? Which cheaper option would you go? Already got... oh, yeah. So just play Chow, Timber, Gabriel. I think that's fairly straightforward. And keep Lacroix for now. Is Ekatike still worth buying? I wouldn't buy him right now. I've just realised, by the way, Paquetá could be out. Lewis Hall's a doubt. And if Thiago is going to get benched, it's this week. Because they only just played on Thursday. This could be a terrible week for me. I'd still rather have 4 free transfers next week, I think. I need to. I'm already looking at my team thinking I just want to hold rank this week. Just don't give me a massive red arrow, please. Would you buy Bruno G or Gordon? I'd go Gordon, but every time I say that, Bruno G just racks up with another return. Everyone offloading Ekatike normally means he hauls. Did definitely get something. By the way, I don't think everyone is offloading him, but there are a few people selling. Gabriel's made everyone lose their minds. Do you think 4-4-2 is a good structure but can play 3-5-2? Yeah. Of course. Defenders are good this year. Start O'Reilly or Alderete. O'Reilly. Sanchez or Dubravka. Sanchez. What are the threats to your rank? I don't know. Everyone that's high owned that I don't own. I try not to look at that, to be honest. I really don't think it's that useful because it just puts you straight away in the mindset of like, I mean, I know that I want Rogers to blank. He's quite highly owned. I guess Ekatike as well. But I think you start making decisions then on who, rather than thinking about who's going to get the most points. I think some people end up making decisions of who's going to hurt them the least. It's just, I don't think it's that useful, really. There is no chance I will buy Paquetá. Does it make sense to buy a Liverpool player? Which one and for who? If I sold Thiago to Ekatike, would you sell him back to Thiago or someone else? I'd probably go to Bowen if you're going to sell him. I wouldn't buy Thiago right now. Semenyo, O'Reilly, Vandenberg. To Gordon, Van der Ven, Cash. Or Gabriel, Tarkowski, Garner. Money is tight. I would go for the Gabriel Tarkowski one, I think. Bench one at Minte, Semenyo, and Van Heck. I just don't know if Minte is going to start. Like 100%, I would say Semenyo, but you know Semenyo is going to start. You don't know that about Minte, so I'd probably bench Minte, even though that's horrible. Need Dewsbury Hall to come back, absolutely. I would say that's where my season derailed, but I've done okay since he was out, but it's not been nice. It's not been nice. Would you play Thiago over Paquetá, Minte, or Bruno G? I'd play him over Paquetá for sure, and probably Minte. But there is obviously some risk that Thiago misses out. I'm really hoping he doesn't though. Like he's played so many 90-minute games, but he did get benched last midweek against Arsenal. Worth saying that. He's played a lot of 90 minutes though. Come on, Thiago. I know you can do it. I know you can play this week. Cherky or Foden longer term? Foden for me. But obviously there's a big price difference. -4 points. Bruno G or Cherky for Wilson, or say I would just play Wilson. Who would you drop first? Calafiori, Dewsbury Hall, or Ballard? Oof. I mean, Dewsbury Hall is probably the biggest issue of those, the one that could be out the longest. But I mean, you might be able to make a more meaningful transfer by selling Calafiori. Like, I'd probably rather do Calafiori. Like, I don't know what your options are, right? But I'd rather do Gabriel in for Calafiori than sell Dewsbury Hall to another cheap midfielder. Chips, I got no idea. No idea when I'm going to play him. Let's see. Play Leno or Dubravka. Fulham home to probably Leno. Szoboszlai isn't reliable for points. That's a nightmare. I got him in my team. O'Reilly to Chow worth a transfer this week. No, I don't think so. I would just wait. Van der Ven or Dorgu this week. Van der Ven. God, talking about threats to my rank, I bet Spurs defenders, especially Van der Ven, are still quite highly owned. With a good fixture this week. I've got Rice and Wilson first bench. Would you start Wilson over Rice? Yes, I think I would. Thoughts on Ben White starting this game? It's possible, but I don't think he will. I think there's enough of a gap between the games that Timber would just start. Is Richards going to play today? Highly unlikely. Sell Van Dijk for Canate? Probably not. Why Szoboszlai over Verts? Szoboszlai's just a lot cheaper. Szoboszlai allowed me to get Gabriel and Lewis Hall, basically, for Vandenberg and Nkapie. Although Nkapie is okay, because he'll probably start again this week. Like, Szoboszlai's nailed for 90 minutes and on penalties. Verts is neither of those things. And also, Verts is more expensive. Must have players for free hit. Oh my God, I've not thought about free hit at all. Gabriel. Actually, I don't know. Would you have... This feels like a rubbish week to free hit. I mean, I would probably go back in time and not free hit. That would be my advice. I don't know. Van der Ven and Kudus, probably from Spurs, because they're playing Sunderland at home. Lewis... you can't even go Lewis Hall. What a rubbish week to free hit. Van Heck. Maybe risk Welbeck. Saka probably. Cunha still against Leeds. Haaland, Foden. Maybe a Villa defender. It's a horrible week to free hit. Playing for fun with 3 flagged players, wildcard. I don't think 3 flags is probably enough to wildcard unless you've got loads of other terrible picks as well. But even then, I'd probably try and save it if you can. Transfer out Richards or Senesi for a third defender with Van Dijk and Keane and 1 million. I think Richards is probably the better longer term pick, but with the injury, I think you've got to sell him. From 1.2 million to 430k since game week 15. Semenyo and Minte to Gordon and Rogers -4. I probably wouldn't take a -4, no. I would just do Semenyo to one of them and just hope for the best on Minte or bench him for Wilson, I think. Is Pickford a good replacement for Raya? Yes, if you want to sell Raya. Foden to Rogers or Cherky or Roll. Roll got 5.2 for a defender. Who would your pick be? Chow probably this week. Play 2. Dorgu, Minte, O'Reilly, Anderson. I think I'd risk Minte and play O'Reilly, I think, out of those. Arsenal lost this fixture last year. They will play their strongest available squad. Yeah, although Ben White's not exactly a massive downgrade on Timber. And they got a much bigger game next week, right? So, I mean, there's a chance White plays, but I don't think he will. Haaland out injured. Yeah, of course he is. Let me just get rid of this person. I have Gabriel Keane and Vandenberg starting. I have O'Reilly and Gay in the bench. Is that the player? I would play O'Reilly ahead of Vandenberg, I think. God, it's going to be... By the way, can I just say right now, there is every chance O'Reilly is benched. I just think he will start. I could be wrong. There is some risk there. Is Paquetá injured? He's a doubt. I got a bad feeling he's just going to completely miss out. But I'm just going to roll. I'm just going to roll and decide what to do next week. Maybe there's just something more... Like, let's say Lewis Hall was missing out this week and he was injured. All of a sudden, that would massively change what I wanted to do with Paquetá. Like, it might be Lewis Hall down to a Sunderland defender and then Paquetá up to someone. Yeah, Anderson off the bench is fine. What I really hope is that I don't get Anderson and Senesi off the bench. That would be a bit of a disaster. I think I could be in a bit of trouble this week, but also it could be fine. Like if Hall, Paquetá, and Thiago all start, then I'm laughing, right? Play O'Reilly or Alderete. O'Reilly. I mean, if you want to play it absolutely safe for minutes, you play Alderete. But if they both start, I prefer O'Reilly. Would you do Semenyo to Bruno G this week with one free transfer? I have Keane, Van Dijk, Richards, 2 Arsenal defenders. Or should I change Richards? Wayne Wilson's okay, I think. I'd probably roll Semenyo than buy Bruno G. Yeah. It's not great playing Semenyo against 2 Arsenal. I don't know, actually. I'd be tempted. But Semenyo might play against Spurs next week as well. I just did Thiago to Calvert-Lewin to free up funds. Should I do Timber to Gabriel -4? No. What have you freed the funds up for? For your information, Arsenal haven't beaten Bournemouth away since 2016. Okay. But what should that change about our decisions right now? Double up on Brighton defense on FPL draft. Who would you go for alongside Van Heck? Oh God, I don't. Great question. I mean, I guess Dunk. I mean, Veltman scored last week, didn't he? I like to guess what song you listened to. Was it The Rock Show by Blink-182 before? I mean, it could have been. I can rewind back. Yes, the last song was The Rock Show. I mean, I didn't even like really clock that I was listening to that. It must just be like subconsciously singing along to it. Different song now. Sunderland versus Man City. What a game. Man for man, ball for ball, inch for inch. Still buzzing off that one. Sunderland were really good. The thing is, though, like, it's such a weird one. Sunderland still conceded like quite a few chances going by XG, but I also agree. I thought they played really well. They were so aggressive to Haaland in particular. Like Mukiele was really good, but they conceded like 2.2 XG. I do think at some point Sunderland are just going to start conceding quite a few. But yeah, I like it's a weird thing. The stats tell me that City should have won that game quite comfortably, but I watched it. I thought Sunderland were really good. -4 Ekatike to Bowen. A -4 to sell Ekatike. No. You only just bought him. Yeah, the Ekatike stuff's getting out of hand now. What if I need to pick 2 from O'Reilly, Van Dijk, Wilson? I'd probably play Wilson and Van Dijk. I know that sounds rubbish because they're playing each other. But that's probably what I do. Why does your ticket say Paquetá is a doubt? Because Paquetá's a doubt. I mean, what else can I say? It's interesting that no one is selling Foden despite him blanking for 3 weeks. I mean, people are selling Foden, to be honest. I've had quite a few questions about getting rid of him. Do I know? Rice apparently did travel with the squad, yeah, but that's all we know. I don't see him getting risked. Like, okay, if we take Arteta at his word, and I know everyone thinks he's a liar, blah, 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 blah. The swelling hadn't gone down as of yesterday, so will it have gone down enough for him to play today? I'm not so sure. Lacroix to Gabriel and Wilson to Lewis Miley -4. No. Wilson is more reliable than Foden. Probably not. There is an argument to start playing 4-5-1 when the AFCON players are back. Potentially. I've thought about it. Like, I mentioned yesterday on Twitter about keeping Saka and trying to get Palmer, and a few people suggested like Thiago down to a cheap forward and go 4-5-1, but I'm not. I don't know. That formation just never really works for that long. But I don't know, maybe. Rice wasn't pictured in training. I know, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything, does it? Sometimes, like Timber wasn't pictured in training, then he missed out recently, but there's been a few times where players aren't seen in training, then they play. Sunderland regularly concede high expected goals against, but they are tied with Arsenal on the amount of large chances conceded. High volume, low XG chances is the key. Yeah, but there's still a massive difference between the total XG that Sunderland concede and Arsenal. I still think it could be a problem eventually. Yeah, people are selling Foden. Like, he's blanked 3 times. I think people were way too trigger happy on their AFCON transfers. I mean, yeah, but that was always going to happen. I mean, how people had like taken so many hits after just getting 5 transfers, I don't know. But then I might be in a position where I have to take a hit soon, so who knows? Hope you're good. Hope you're good too. Bench 2, Minte, Semenyo, Anderson, Keane, Dorgu. Did Van Dijk to Gabriel despite midfield issues? Oof. I think with your team you risk Minte and you probably play Semenyo. Dallo to Frimpong or roll. Palmer is steadily improving. Not in terms of minutes, he's not though. He got less minutes last week than he did the week before. That worries me a bit. Cunha or Calvert-Lewin? Cunha this week. I got Bruno and Munoz with my AFCON transfers. Huh? Thiago has been very disappointing. Yep. But, I mean, which forward hasn't, really? Presuming no knee-jerk stream. Correct, yeah. The next knee-jerk stream, I don't know when it'll be. I'm not even sure it'll be after Game Week 20 or 21. Might be after Game Week 22 when we're back to normal-ish. Best James replacement, not Gabriel, Hall or Van Heck. Maybe I would go cheap, like a Sunderland defender, potentially, despite what I've just said about them. Can you not just play back 3, though, and keep James for now? I don't know who else I would go for if you've already got Lewis Hall. I mean, James to Van Dijk. What other defenders are people even bringing in this week? I don't know if I would go for a Brighton defender, although Van Heck is quite good this week. I mean, Tarkowski probably, if you can afford it, would be quite nice. Yeah, James to Tarkowski probably. Oh, Collins is not a bad shout. Collins is not a bad shout at all. Everton away, Sunderland at home. Pretty good for DEFCON. I think if you can afford it, though, I would go for Tarkowski. I have Anderson in the bench, that's why. Okay. What's wrong with that? If you can just play those 3 defenders. Could you imagine if Haaland gets injured, no forwards? Yeah, I'd just go to Bowen, probably. Maybe Mateta, if I think his minutes are going to be okay. To be honest, if Haaland got injured, I'd probably just buy a Ekitike, actually. Have Verts and Paquetá, no bench. Shall I take a hit? No. Probably not. I don't know. I think Verts will get some minutes at least. Do I think Saka is in the starting lineup? I mean, I would say it's close to 100% that he will be. I guess there's always a chance, but probably fine. Rice to Trossard or Roll? Probably Roll. I don't think I would buy Trossard. Do you think Lewis Miley's a good option? I mean, for now he's okay, but he's not going to play right back forever. Like Trippier and Livramento are getting closer. And then once they're back, there's no guarantee he goes back into midfield. Not regularly anyway. So I probably would avoid him. Downgrade Ekitike to Calvert-Lewin to get some big defenders / midfielders and go 4-5-1. I mean, it's fine, yeah, but I just wouldn't bother selling Ekitike right now. Start two of Sharda, Minte, Beto. Sharda and Minte. Then over either O'Reilly or Konza. I'd be tempted to start Konza, you know. Just take the guaranteed start with a good fixture. Are we 100% on Hall's 90 minutes? No, but I would start him ahead of Mukiele. 2 free transfers, 0.9 in the bank. O'Reilly and Minte to Gabriel and Garner. Nice. Or just Van Dijk to Gabriel. Honestly, I quite like the Gabriel and Garner. Go big at the back. Thinking of Rice, Ekitike and Yoki Manderson out for Gabriel, Bowen and Paquetá. I know he's a doubt, but tempted because of great fixtures. You can't buy Paquetá. Because if he's a doubt for this week, he's going to be a doubt for next week, right? The game's on Tuesday. So I probably just wouldn't bother. In general, though, those transfers seem okay to me. Just I wouldn't get Paquetá. Just a little appreciation for all the great work you've been doing throughout the season. Thank you very much. Good luck to reach 500k. Thank you. I don't think we're going to do it this season, but I mean, we should do it next season. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. O'Reilly to Lewis Hall -4. No chance would I do that. Feels like a game week with a lot of uncertainty. Maybe it's okay to play the risky players and spare the free transfers. I think maybe it's just me, but there does seem like a lot of doubt on which. I mean, and I'm quite doubtful about it as well. Like, which are the best players to bring in this week? I don't know if it's going to get any easier next week. But I don't know. I do kind of like the mantra of, if you're not quite sure, just roll. I don't think that's terrible FPL play necessarily. I don't know. But then there are some people out there that have just got good moves to do. Like, if you're, I guess I've already got Gabriel, so that's one less player I need to worry about. It's the cheap midfielders I can't get my head around. I just feel like spending an extra 0.4, 0.5 on the likes of Enzo might be better than just getting a cheap one right now. Semenyo or Timber? I would play Timber. I'd probably play Timber, but wait for Semenyo to wipe out the clean sheets. That's going to feel so bad, isn't it? Double clean sheet wiped out by bloody Semenyo. Tarkovsky and Mukiele to Keenan O'Reilly -4. No, or upgrade Vandenberg for defense. I mean, you could just do Vandenberg to Mukiele, I guess. I mean, Anderson's okay, though, for cover. I wouldn't worry about it too much. You might reach 500k this season if you make a big deal out of your current rank. I'd have to get into the top like 100 or something for that to be that meaningful. Like, it does help having a good rank in terms of subscribers, absolutely, but you need a bit more than 11k to get. Like, you just don't get many subscribers from this point to the end of the season now. So yeah, if I can get into the top 100, but that's absolutely not happening. Bench fodder, Tavernier starting, Virgil van Dijk to Gabriel, Semenyo to Bruno G to fund it, or someone else under 7 million. I still quite like Szoboszlai, but do you know what? The fixtures are there for Bruno, so I don't mind it. Or someone else under 7 million. I like buying Szoboszlai this week when he's got Arsenal away next week does kind of suck, if I'm honest. Enzo's okay next week. Kudus maybe. I can't sit here and tell you that I think Kudus is miles better than Bruno G. He is cheaper though, which might be helpful for you. Kelleher / Tarkovsky or Pickford / Collins. Which one's cheaper? I honestly think which one's cheaper would come. I'd probably go Kelleher and Tarkovsky. Keep that money out of the goalkeeper spot. After Paquetá news, buy Gordon. If you can afford it in one move, sure. I mean, if I had the money in the bank, I'd probably consider it. I just don't. Look for a Chelsea midfielder, in my opinion, after this game. Do you know what? My only slight worry about buying a Chelsea midfielder next week is I would definitely go Enzo. because I would just trust his minutes more than like Neto or Esteval. But like sometimes you can just be too early on a move. Like we know that Chelsea's fixtures are pretty good from 22 and very good from 24. So if I go Enzo in 21, unless he looks like a major doubt for minutes, I won't sell him. I will keep him the whole way through. But it might be that we get to 24, people have got a spare Chelsea slot, and then Estebal's a great option or someone else instead. That's my only worry with buying Enzo next week. Might be too far ahead of the curve. Yeah, wildcard questions is, I don't know. I'll use it when I need it. Probably based in and around double game weeks, which right now I don't know how they're going to fall. So my plan for the chips is just not worry about it for now. Would you rather have Gordon or Rogers? Gordon. I would just take the risk. Like, I have to say, because I've recommended Gordon quite a lot, he's a massive risk for minutes potentially longer term. But I think because of the fixtures and because of the penalties, I'd probably risk it over Rogers. But if you want the player that's going to play 90 minutes every week, just buy Rogers. What's the big hype around Cunha? I mean, what hype? We've barely even spoken about him this week. Long-term plans for Thiago? I don't know. I don't think he's very good, but I don't think there's very many great options at his price or below. So probably just keep him this week, keep him for Sunderland, and then decide from 22 onwards. Like I've looked at a couple of different scenarios. So one might be selling him in 22 for a cheap forward going 4-5-1/5-4-1. The other option might be to bench him this week and then play him against Forest at home, then decide what to do after that. I really don't know what my plan is for Thiago right now. Yeah, fully aware. Paquetá's a doubt. Got it. Nkapie to Gabriel, wait until after Liverpool. I think you can do that move if you want to. It's fine to do. The thing is, Nkapie probably plays this week. I don't know if he'll also play against Liverpool. We'll have to wait for an update on Calafiori. But basically, it's okay to hold Nkapie this week, then decide what to do next week. Is it worth wildcarding if not happy with the team? Like, probably not, because it depends why you're wildcarding. Like, you can be not happy with your team, but it's still an okay team. In most cases, if you're not 100% certain wildcard's the right choice, I would just wait. Like, if you're new to FPL, I promise you, wildcards are very handy around double game weeks time. And if you're not new to FPL, you know full well how useful they can be, right? Now, it might be that you wildcard now and you're just able to manage the double game weeks with no issue. But we just don't know that yet. So I'd rather tread with caution. What's your plan with Szoboszlai after this game week? Just to play him against Arsenal, then play him against Burnley. What would your wildcard team look like this week? I don't know. I've not looked at it at all. My assumption was that not many people would be wildcarding, so I didn't even bother looking at it. Plus, it's a quick turnaround. Paquetá for a hit is worth it. No, I would not buy him even for free. When are the double game weeks? Don't know. Vert's out for Saka in -4. Maybe. Just in case Verts gets benched. Possibility, I guess. Sell Thiago to who? I'd have to go to Calvert-Lewin, who just got benched last week. So he's good for this week, but are his minutes fully secure going forward? Have Minte, Keane, O'Reilly. Which two would you risk? O'Reilly and Minte, I think. Is targeting Palmer good, or should I just... I wouldn't ignore Palmer completely, but I would wait for him before you bring him in. I would want to see his minutes over the next couple just to see if they improve. Like, if he's only going to play 60 to 70 most weeks, I'm not sure there's a need to get him in. My guess is Verts will start, but there is some risk there. In draft, is Jesus starting? Probably not. Start Odegaard or Verts? Odegaard. 1 free transfer, Rice to Rogers or roll and play Wilson. Roll and play Wilson. Rice out for a -4. Wilson's the current replacement. Just play Wilson, or does Verts need to be dealt with a -4? I wouldn't take a -4 for Verts. Since Villa's winning run, Rodgers have returned in 50% of the games, blanking against Arsenal twice, Chelsea, City, and Liverpool. I think you're underlooking Rodgers. Rodgers is a good pick. I don't know what more I can say. I'm just not going to buy him. I wonder if at some point Rodgers' underlying numbers will catch up with him. Oh God, I've just seen a comment on one of my YouTube videos. It says, do you have a concern over Thiago or even Foden not starting? Oh my God, it is a quick turnaround. There could be some chaos this week or next, that's for sure. Just have to hope it doesn't affect your team that much. Why is O'Reilly a risk? Just because he was subbed off for the 60th minute. We have exchanged ranks 10k to 30k. Please help me sort out my defense. Keane and Capio, O'Reilly, Dorgu soon. All transfers out. Tell me it's okay to wait for Gabriel. It's okay to wait for Gabriel. Honestly, I think you're okay for now. I think you'll get at least 3 starts from those defenders. The FA Cup, the big guns will get rested. Yes, but there are some players that are just like Thiago, Lewis Hall in my team, for example, are slight risks, I think. Thoughts on Mateus Fernandes as a 5.5 million unique pick? He doesn't have penalties. His defcons are okay. His attacking threat is not really there. Like when Paquetá was fit, I think there was no doubt but to pay the extra 0.4. I would rather get Tavernier, I think, next week, who could be on penalties once Semenyo goes. Maybe ahead of Clive. I think that's doubtful, but maybe. Yeah, I think Mateus Fernandes, I think he's a good player. I'm not sure he's a great FPL pick. I'd rather go for Elliot Anderson. Verts and Minte in the 11, no bench and 1 free transfer roll. I would roll and risk it. It could be a disaster, though. When Semenyo leaves, does Krupi become good again? I'm not convinced that they will let Semenyo go without buying a replacement. Now, there is apparently like a release clause, and that's why there's all this talk about him in January, but I still think they would bring someone in. So Krupi probably does get a few more minutes, but whether it's meaningful for FPL, I'm not so sure. Foden definitely gets benched either tomorrow or midweek. I doubt it, to be honest, but sure, you could be right. He started every game since game week 4. Like I think we've just got to accept he's nailed at the moment. Bench 1, Tavernier, O'Reilly, Anderson, Fulham, or Thiago. Anderson, Fulham, just about. Start Keane or Dorgu. Cameo, Fear on Keane, and play. Yeah, I'll just probably play Dorgu in that case. Happy New Year to you too. Open to rolling or taking a hit for Gabriel. But what players are you thinking about selling? Like Timber, Van Dijk, Dorgu are all fine. Semenyo, I mean, Eze's got to go. Eze's rubbish pick. So I would sell Eze to someone. Yeah. Eze should go. I'd probably get Gordon. One free transfer. Only Anderson on the bench. Sell Rice, Minte, or Wilson for Gordon. I'd prefer to keep... Well, sell Minte then. If you prefer to keep Rice longer term, sell Minte. Because you know Wilson's going to play. Minte might not. Even though that feels bad because he's playing Burnley. I have 0.6 in the bank. Do I go Sharda to Rogers or Van Dijk to Gabriel? 1 transfer in the bank. Probably Van Dijk to Gabriel, but honestly, I think you could roll. Should I do O'Reilly to Chow? Probably not. Or Dorgu or roll? Probably roll. Who to replace Calafiori? 6.2 in the bank. Tarkovsky, maybe? Versus Saka / Rogers. Okay, or Ballard, Tarkovsky / Timber for a hit. I mean, if you're going to take a hit, I do Verts to Saka, I think. But you could roll. Worth the risk starting Keane. I don't know how much the cameo chance is there, to be honest. That's what worries me. I mean, Keane is the better pick than Dorgu, for sure. If they both start. But if you want the guaranteed starter, it's got to be Dorgu. Which 2 out of Cherky, Bruno G, or Rogers on wildcard? Which 2? Oh my god. I don't know if I'd go for any of them. I guess Rogers and Bruno G, because I'd want to play it safe. Like if you're wildcarding this early, you should probably have no players that are a risk for minutes. And in my opinion, Cherky longer term will be a risk. As good as he is, I think longer term will be a risk. Bowen for Ekatike or True Fair for Van Heck or both -4? Neither. Just roll, probably. My team is serious. Like, I'm not really sure. Is that Van Heck in for True Fair? I'm not sure which way around it, because I'm assuming you own Ekatike, so it's Bowen in for Ekatike. It must be True Fair to Van Heck, right? If you're doing one of those moves, then the defender move is best. I would not take a -4. Whichever way around that forward transfer is. Bench 2, Hall, Van Heck, Vandenberg, O'Reilly, Mukiele. Vandenberg and Mukiele. Trossard is a good pick. He's Arsenal's most attacking asset. Is he? Is he? Or did he just score and get an assist last week, so now everyone's bigging him up? Because actually, Arsenal's most attacking option is Saka. But for some reason, people just keep saying he's not. And I think that's because of his price. But, I mean, Saka is clearly better attacking option than Trossard. Now, in FPL, might not be worth it because of the price, etc., etc. But if we're talking literally, like Saka assist, blank, 2 assists, assist, goal, assist, blank, goal. Like, he's done pretty well. I would prefer if he scored a few more goals and took all the penalties, but here's what it is. Captain Rogers over Haaland. Sure, why not? No, I wouldn't do that. Saka is getting me points week in, week out. Yeah, people just constantly overlook him, really. I mean, he's been really consistent. And I know what people, yeah, but he's not got the most point. Blah, there's people that are cheaper. Yeah, I get it. But he's still been good. Saka's currently Semenyo's still the highest scoring midfielder. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fernandes is still third. What a legend. Why are you not taking a liking into Bowen? I mean, Bowen's fine if you need a new forward. Royce or Sanchez to play this week. I'm going to go for the Sunderland guy. I think Wirtz will be benched, so bring Rodgers in and we'll Ruta start. Ruta, I think good chance of starting, I would say. Rodgers in, sure. Everyone loves a bit of Rodgers, apparently. Thoughts on selling Wirtz to free up money for Gabriel to buy next week, or should I roll and not take a -4? I wouldn't take a -4. I don't think. God, I'm starting to get worried about how disastrous this week could be. Like if Hall gets benched and Thiago, Minte, Timber. I don't think Timber will, by the way. Paquetá. Just buy Bruno. I will buy Bruno pretty much as soon as he's back. Let's wait and see when that is. I mean, Foden to Bruno. Nice and easy. Play O'Reilly or Mukiele. 40 months. I'm going to say O'Reilly. Start Alderete over Keane. No, I'd probably risk Keane in that case. 2 months, thank you. The thing with Paquetá is you already know he's getting a yellow by default. I mean, he didn't last week. He just got a 13-pointer. Don't know if anyone saw that. Start Wilson, Fulham, or Minte. Minte and risk it, I think. Oh, or sell Minte to someone better. If you got 2 free transfers, I'd be tempted to move Minte on, yeah. Just in case. -4 O'Reilly to Gabriel. No, when would you say is the best time to wildcard? Probably in and around double game weeks. Do I go for 3-5-2? So do you play Minte or Mukiele? I'd risk Minte. In that case. Less than 20 minutes to go, by the way. Need to start getting your moves locked in. I'm going to roll and just close my eyes and hope for the best. Doodaloo. Keane, Anderson, or Doku? Oof. See, Doku's only just back, so my assumption is he probably won't start. Although, Savinio got injured. If you got Doku, I'd probably start him. Keane or Mukiele, I'd probably go Keane. I just answered that one, I think. I have 2 free transfers between Capier and Minte, the risks. Anderson and Senesi on my bench. I'd roll, yeah. I think Capier starts. I just don't think Arteta wants to use Lewis Skelly that much, unless he has to. And we know Calafiori's out, right? Seriously getting tempted by Gordon captaincy. I mean, to be honest, I do get why people are looking at going against Haaland, because it's not that interesting this week against Chelsea at home, but he probably is just the best option. For game week 21, Ekatike and Foden to Palmer and Bowen or Calvert-Lewin. Probably Bowen, although 21, I can't remember what West Ham's fixtures are like. Let me just pull them up here. Game week 21, yeah, Bowen, I think. Bench 1 in Capiel, Miley. Probably Miley. Start Mukiele or Elliot Anderson. Mukiele, I think. -4 verts to Rogers. I probably wouldn't do that. Is Krupi an option with Semenyo leaving? I just think Bournemouth will sign someone else. I don't think Krupi's minutes go up in a meaningful way, but I could be wrong. Tom, 41 months, thank you. Gravenberch to Bruno, Newcastle, or Rao to Manny, Wolves to save money. You don't need to do Rao to Manny unless you absolutely need the money right now. So the other move is better, I think. Surely we are in the realm of questioning Haaland captain often now. It's not a doubt to his upside and capabilities, but just reliability over hits a high ceiling or blank. Saka hits 6 a lot. Yeah, but I mean, Haaland could just as easily start hitting 6 a lot, right? It can happen. He gets a goal. He gets 1 goal for a couple of weeks in a row, but no bonus possible. Start Minte this week over Cunha. No chance. Get Tarkovsky in for Gay. Sounds okay to me. Tarkovsky's just a really good pickup. Start John or Dubravka? I guess you start John. Good old John. Start Wilson or Thiago. Thiago's blanks are becoming frustrating. Everton away will be tough. Usually I would start Thiago. There are probably some slight doubts about whether he starts. But I think I'd go for the penalty taker, to be honest. Rolling with Rice, Keane, and Verts in my team. Crazy. I wouldn't say crazy. You could be in for some pain, but sometimes some short-term pain is better for some long-term gain in FPL. Enzo or Bruno G in for Rice. If I was buying this week, it'd have to be Bruno G, I think. Can also afford Gordon in, but then I cannot do Gabriel and throw right. Well, you should probably... Yeah, I would leave a route open to Gabriel, to be honest. So don't buy Gordon. This is why I always say, like, when people send me like their whole team and say, what should I do? What should I do? It's really difficult because you need to know what your future moves are. Like, that's really important information. If you can't get Gabriel, you probably shouldn't make the move that blocks that, you know? I think in that case, it's fine to avoid Gordon. Should I sell Semenyo for Cunha? I probably wouldn't buy Cunha now. 2 weeks, and I think most people will be looking to sell, especially if he blanks. Bench Garner, Rogers, Cherky, or Gordon. Garner. Because obviously Rogers is absolutely essential, and Cherky and Gordon are okay as well. Bench 2, Timber, O'Reilly, Dorgu, Mukiele, Semenyo, Wilson. Timber I would play. Semenyo I'd probably play. Dorgu, O'Reilly. I'd probably... Oh, no. I would bench Dorgu and Mukiele, I think. Although... Do you know what? I think in your case, I'd bench O'Reilly and Mukiele. And just take the guaranteed minutes from Dorgu. Start Senesi or Potts. Potts, I think. O'Reilly to Tarkovsky. Not a bad move if you've got a spare transfer. Bench 1, Dorgu, Keane, or Thiago. Thiago. Dorgu or Keane, I don't know. Like, Dorgu definitely starts. Keane doesn't. But is Keane really going to cameo off the bench? I'd probably risk starting Keane. I think. Just about, I think. I miss the assistant manager chip. I don't miss that chip whatsoever. I hope it never comes back. Start Collins or Keane. Again, I'd probably risk Keane. I think the chances of Keane being benched and coming on are so low. Any news on Mintel or Welbeck? No, you're not going to get any either, really, to be honest. Who should captain, Harden or Bowen? Harden. And am I still in the overall cup? No, I'm out. I'm actually out to someone that wildcarded with Rogers recently. I think they wildcarded with Rogers and Calvert-Lewin the week that Calvert-Lewin got a brace. Do I prefer the quick deadlines? Yes, although when you've got injuries, they are worse because you don't have as much time between game weeks for the players to recover. So I think it's all right me saying I like the quick deadlines, but that's because my team's done okay injury-wise up until this week maybe. Like, it'd be much nicer if Paquetá had a whole week to rest. Is Ekitike to Bowen viable? Thinking of Joachim Andersen to Tarkovsky. I mean, it's viable, yeah, but I think you just keep Ekitike for now. Would you play Hwang versus West Ham or Enzo versus City? I mean, we're all looking at Wolves as the fixtures to target, but West Ham's also not. Why have you got Hwang? I mean, he should start, right? So I'm just trying to check his minutes here. Hwang. So funny. Wait, why can't I find him? Oh, is he down as... Oh, yeah, yeah. He started the last 4 games. I mean, if you've got Hwang, I'd probably start him. Why not? I wouldn't buy him, but if you've got him, why not? He's playing West Ham at home. Interesting stat I came across. Haaland has never been the top scorer in 19 games, but I will still captain him. Gone against with last 3 weeks with Palmer. Okay, nice. But he's still pretty good, right? Thiago or Grealish? Thiago. Would you do Semenyo to Rogers/Gordon now or roll and decide next week? I would probably just get Gordon. Would you buy Foden/Cherky now? 5 free transfers. Foden, yes. Cherky, probably not. Would you play Sanchez or Dubravka? Sanchez. Selling Capier for Chow? No, I would just play Capier. Bench one of Ekatike. Come on. Come on. Ekatike, Bowen, Gordon, Odegaard, Rogers, Cunha, or Foden. I'd probably bench Odegaard out of those. Odegaard or Rogers? I'm going to say Odegaard. O'Reilly to start. I think he will. Play Potter. Potts, I guess that is. I'd play O'Reilly, I think. Thoughts on triple City attack? It's probably okay short term. Play one. O'Reilly, Raul Jimenez, Anderson, or Stack. Raul Jimenez. Play the penalty taker. Captain Gabriel or Bowen? Bowen, I guess. He's playing Wolves. Yeah, Paquetá's a doubt. He's probably going to miss out. I'm still going to roll. Fernandez for West Ham or Hwang for Wolves? Big call. I would just get neither. Start 3. Dorgu, Dallo, Van Dijk or O'Reilly. Oh my god, excuse me. I'd bench O'Reilly, I think. Oh god, yawning already. That's not good. Is Heaven a good pick to tank the 5th defender spot? Short term, yes. Minte or O'Reilly to start. When I'd risk Minte in that case. Start Rice or Chow. Chow. I want to play Sunderland defence versus Spurs for Bruggen has Burnley. Yeah, you start for Bruggen. Lequata and Newcastle defender. If so, who? I would just buy Chow, honestly. Like, as a Lewis Hall owner for 1 week, he's already given me a bit of a headache. Is Dorgu likely to play an attack, or should I just play Thiago? I would play Thiago. Dorgu presumably will just be left wing back again. It's hard to know, really. He's only played right wing once. Would you sell Semenyo for a -4? No, don't think so. Start Sanchez. Yeah, Sanchez. Is Rice fit? Not that we... Well, we don't know, basically. Oh, okay. I've just seen that. Yeah, I've just seen that Simon Collins, Declan Rice has travelled with the Arsenal squad to Bournemouth, joined the squad on their usual pre-game walk this morning. Now, it's worth saying, I think, wasn't there a player recently that was on the walk that didn't start? So he's still a doubt, but he is there with the squad, Declan Rice. So there is probably some... yeah, there is probably some chance that he's going to be involved, maybe. What's your expectation for United against Leeds? Not good, to be honest. But I wouldn't. There's no chance I would do Cunha to Rogers. 0 chance. Wouldn't even think about it. Got Burnley away next week. Play O'Reilly or Cash. Cash. Who do you think scores more points this week? Goodmanson or Joachim Anderson? I mean, arguably, Goodmanson against United. Anderson's just so good for DEFCONs. That's the only thing. I think Leeds have got a high chance of a clean sheet. Would you do Cappier to Gabriel for free? Yes, but it is worth saying Cappier will probably start this week. So you could delay the move a week if you wanted to. Let me just retweet this. You're definitely not the GOAT. You deserve every green arrow. Thank you very much. Very kind. Just be prepared for some red ones to come. My back is hurting. George, new member, thank you. I have Minte, Roden, and Mark Gill on my bench and Hall starting. I've got one free transfer. Considering the risk of all four not starting, should I make a transfer this week? Yeah, probably. I don't know what you can do though. 0.4. Minte out sounds a bit rubbish if you've only got point. Minte to Kudus or Rodon up to someone maybe would probably be the move. I mean, Lewis Hall will presumably start because Eddie Hall said he should be okay, but should is not 100% confidence, I guess. Start 2. Keane, O'Reilly, Mukiele, Alderete. I'd probably bench the 2 Sunderland guys. I know it feels bad after they just got a clean sheet against Man City, but that's probably what I would do. Did I say Eddie Hall? Is that why the hell did I say Eddie Hall? Lewis Hall, I meant. I don't even think I've seen any Eddie Hall content for ages. Oh, Eddie Howe, I meant to say, didn't I? Sorry, Eddie Howe, yeah. Is Lewis Hall Eddie Hall? Yeah, okay. I meant to say Eddie Howe, obviously. Oops. I don't know. Maybe Eddie Hall has got some info on Lewis Hall. Maybe he has got some info. Brought Pickford for a -4 for Henderson. Okay. Start Gay. I've got Chow, or Anderson got Ekatike. I would start Anderson over Gay, I think. I think I did all the rest. Let me see. Rogers captain. I would go Haaland captain over Rogers. Oh my god, I hope Rogers blanks so much. He's not going to though, is he? I don't even know if I'm probably not going to watch the Villa game. I'm probably going to. Actually, I'm not going to say what I'm going to do. Don't want any spoilers. -4 for Eddie Hall. Is it worth it? Absolutely. Senesi or Goodmanson this week? Goodmanson. Maybe Eddie Hall will be the new Chelsea manager. You never know. Bowen or Haaland as captain? Haaland. Do you know why Isidore doesn't start for Sunderland anymore? I just don't think he was ever going to be fully nailed. They've just got options. Brobby's starting a lot at the moment. He actually played pretty well against City. Probably should have scored. Yeah, I mean, Mayenda started the season, right? And then Isidore came in. So he's never going to be like fully nailed. That's always the problem. See, this is the thing. I think when people were talking about Isidore, I probably would have said about his minutes. But then he played for ages, didn't he? But this is the problem. You're never 100% sure whether it's going to continue. I would not buy Mayenda either because Isidore could just come in at some point. Yeah, they're just probably both voids unless one gets injured. Is Rogers captain? I don't want to say terrible because it will just come back to bite me and I'll have a load of comments on this deadline stream when he scores a hat-trick, but I don't think it's a great option. Bench 1, Van Dijk, O'Reilly, Dorgu, Minte, Stack. Probably Stack and risk the rest. One of Van Heck, Keane, O'Reilly. I mean, Van Heck's got Burnley at home. Anyone that's got Van Heck this week should be playing him. Surely there's not any doubts there. Thiago and Van Heck, and I would bench Minte and Dorgu. Thiago to Barry, genius or insanity? Could be both. How come Odegaard is in the Fulham shirt on the price rise graphic? Not sure. Is Nketiah a doubt going forward? He will be when Calafiori's back. Otherwise, I think he's just going to play left back. Start either Vandenberg, Senesi, or Anderson. I'd risk Vandenberg, but it is a risk. Vandenberg, Anderson, Senesi, that order. I don't think we're ever getting to 500k, yo. What, rank or subscribers? Start Chow and Forrest Anderson over Mukiele and Xhaka versus Spurs. Probably, yeah. I think Anderson and Xhaka is quite close, but the other one I would definitely start Chow, I think you said, yeah. Less than a minute, by the way, to the deadline. I better double check that my team is fully locked. So I'm going to start Paquetá and hope for the best. I'm fully aware that he's a doubt. I've got Anderson off the bench. I just hope that Lewis Hall and Thiago and Foden all start. Everyone else should be fine. I think Saka, Cunha, Haaland, Foden, Szoboszlai, Van Dijk, Gabriel Reyes should all be fine. Yeah, Paquetá probably won't start. But, yeah, is what it is. 20 seconds. Get your decisions locked in. I hope Paquetá's back for 21 because I really want to roll next week. Cause the thing is, if Paquetá's out, I might end up making 2 transfers. But really, I just want to roll. I just want to roll. I want to roll as much as possible. There we go. Deadline. Locked in. Locked in. Make sure to give the stream a like, by the way. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. That was a nice. That was quite a nice. What do you mean Paquetá's confirmed out? Don't tell me that now. Where have you just seen that? I mean, he's probably going to be out anyway. Everyone's saying he's out. Where have you seen that, though? Oh, he didn't travel. Where have you seen that, though? Oh, fair enough. Either way, I've got Anderson off the bench. Right. Make sure to give the stream a like. Hit that subscribe button. And I will catch you tomorrow for team selection. Yeah, maybe they're trolling. I don't know. It really doesn't matter. I've got Anderson coming off the bench. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow with team selection. The last game tomorrow is 5:30, so it won't finish till 7:30. So team selection will probably be out shortly after that. It's another Tuesday deadline next week, so be prepared for a quick turnaround. Next members stream will probably be Monday at 5 p.m. I would guess. Yeah, it probably will be that. Right, thank you very much for watching. Enjoy your weekends, and I will catch you tomorrow.